Today with Lou Waters and Natalie Allen. Weekdays on CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Tornadoes ripped through the central United States, leaving a path of death and devastation. Hello, I'm Michael Holmes at the CNN Center, and welcome to our viewers in the United States and, of course, around the world. At least 35 people are dead after tornadoes touched down in the central United States. The worst of the tornadoes struck the state of Oklahoma with winds of more than 400 kilometers an hour. The vicious storms cut a 60-mile or 90-kilometer path of destruction through the state. Several neighborhoods were hit by a twister for half an hour. Police say an estimated 1,000 homes were leveled in Oklahoma City alone. More tornadoes were later reported in the state of Kansas. Witnesses say the tornadoes were unlike anything they've seen before.
There was just wind. Felt like, you could hear the wind blowing. You could hear things bouncing off the top of the roof. It felt like, it was just going to blow over the whole school. It was terrible. It was awful. We were all down, crouched under the chairs in the lecture center, and it was so bad. You could hear the wind blowing. You could hear the tornado. And you could hear everything just coming through it. And then our teachers came in and informed us of, that we need to, told us not to leave everybody to stay in there. And then we were all sitting in chairs, and then she told us to go to the floor. And then once you could we started hearing more warnings on the weather, more severe. We were just all laid flat on the floor and had people covered over us.
And our viewers in Asia will leave us now. For them, Q&A Asia is up next. And for our other viewers, we continue our coverage of the deadly storms in the United States. And for more on the effect of the tornadoes, we're joined now by Bob Sands. He's a journalist with KKNG Radio in Oklahoma City. Bob, thanks for being with us. It's difficult to imagine the scene. Paint a picture for us, if you will.
Michael, it's a scene tonight that basically of a stunned city. I have been all over the damage area, and you have to understand there's a lot of power out. We have like 60,000 people at least without power right now, 6 major substations down. And for a lot of people, they can't get into their areas, into their neighborhoods. Their homes may not even be damaged, but they can't get in there because of all the other damage that's going on. So there's lots of people who have no place to go. There have been many shelters open. Many churches have opened their doors to take people in. But what you keep finding are people who have stopped at whatever convenience store is still open. I went by a couple of them in the Midwest City, Del City area, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City, and there may have been 50 to 60 people sitting around the convenience store in their cars just staring out of the windows. I talked to a number of them, and they said, well, there are shelters you could go to, and then, no, I think I'll just sleep in the car tonight. It's like the car is the only thing that they can really latch on to that they know is theirs, and they're going to have again tomorrow morning when the sun comes up. And when the sun comes up, the sight is going to be unbelievable. I'm out of words to describe this because of the utter devastation. We have a path of destruction a mile to a mile and a half wide right through the southern part of our city. And you look at this, and there are hundreds and hundreds of homes, and it's just flat. There's nothing left. You wonder how anybody could get out of it. And at the moment, our death total is at 24, and it may go higher. But right now, this is the city in shock once again. It's like it's taken another blow to the belly, and a lot of people just really don't know what to do right now.
And just updating the death toll, 24 people dead in Oklahoma and 10 in Kansas, a total of 34. Bob, most people, you included, have seen television footage of tornadoes and even watching these amazing pictures of tornadoes, but try to give us a sense, if you will, of what the real thing was like for these people. What have they told you about what happened?
Michael, I've been chasing tornadoes as a journalist for 30 years in Oklahoma, and I can tell you I have never seen anything like this. And that's the description that you hear over and over and over again. I've never seen anything like this. And these are people who are used to tornadoes. Yes, you get nervous at that time of the year, and some people really are panicky about it. But most people in this state are familiar with what tornado season is all about, and they know what to expect. they've never seen anything like this before. This was the most amazingly huge and powerful tornado I've ever seen in 30 years of reporting. At one time, this particular cell that you're showing right now that has the small tornado behind it, at one time there were 5 tornadoes, 5 vortexes coming out of that cloud, and it's just amazing. Again, the same thing you hear over and over again is, I've never seen anything like this before. It was so powerful.
Bob Sands of KKNG Radio in Oklahoma City, thanks very much for bringing us that perspective. Well, officials say there is no sign of these storms letting up. Meteorologist Dave Hennon is tracking their path at the CNN Weather Center. Dave joins us now. What's the latest there, Dave?
Well, Michael, still looking at some severe weather on the ground right at this hour. We are watching some severe weather that continues to move towards Muskogee. That is located in Muskogee County. That's where the most intense thunderstorms are right now. Reports of a tornado on the ground heading for that general vicinity. So we continue to see these supercells, as we call them, producing tornadoes, and likely to continue to do so for the next several hours. Also, we currently have a tornado warning in effect in Osage County, which is located northwest of the greater Tulsa area. So the storms have not quite made it through Tulsa yet. And further to the south as well, we are dealing with the potential for severe weather back right now through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, currently moving through. We have not seen, in the last several moments anyway, any tornado warnings for that particular area, but we would not be surprised to see that. There is currently a tornado watch box in effect. Let's show you where those are. They cover a fairly large area, including from parts of Missouri back into Kansas. Remember, the Kansas area was hard hit as well. It appears those storms have died down a bit. Most of the heavier weather right now towards Muskogee, as we showed you, and also into Tulsa and back towards the Metroplex. Would not be surprised to see these tornadoes continue to move eastward through the day. We do have from the Storm Prediction Center a moderate risk of severe weather. That's a pretty good risk of severe storms today. This includes all day, by the way, and in through the overnight hours tonight from southern sections of Missouri and back into Texas. And again today, the most serious of risks, a high risk of severe weather today. That means a pretty good coverage again of severe storms from Texas and extending up back in towards parts of Arkansas. So watch out later on today around Little Rock and back towards the Fort Smith, Arkansas area, and extending back in through parts of Illinois. That is the area that we'll continue to watch on through the latter parts of the day. Michael?
All right, Dave Hennon there at the CNN Weather Center will be keeping track of these tornadoes as they continue. Now, joining us on the line is Julie Galuska. She's with the Red Cross in Kansas. Thanks for being with us, Ms. Galuska. I wonder if you could start off by telling us about the situation there, what you've seen, and how desperate it is for those who are trying to make it through the night in U.S. time.
Well, it is a very devastating situation here, and the Red Cross is actively working to meet the basic emergency needs of those affected by the tornadoes that hit Wichita, Kansas, and also Hayesville, Kansas. And we are working to meet the needs by opening 3 shelters, 1 in Wichita and 2 in Hayesville. And then the other thing that we are currently doing is we are accepting inquiries regarding the welfare of immediate family members. So we're encouraging those people who are concerned about their loved ones to call the local Red Cross here in Wichita, Kansas.
Julie, we were speaking earlier to Bob Sands of KKNG Radio in Oklahoma City, and he spoke of people sitting around in cars just simply stunned at what had happened. What have you seen? Can you give us a picture, if you like, of how people have reacted to this?
The only thing I have seen as far as reactions are what I've seen on TV. And people just are in shock, I believe, and there's just a lot of dismay. There's a lot of concern. A lot of families have not been reunited at this point, and that is one of our biggest concerns right now.
How well equipped are you and other aid organizations as we look at more pictures of these tornadoes coming through? And just updating, by the way, the death toll at 36 in these tornadoes. How well equipped are you and other aid organizations in handling this sort of situation?
We're very well equipped. We have already activated our local trained Red Cross volunteers and staff members. So we are responding adequately and yet preparing for future storms that may hit as well.
And what have you heard is the latest in terms of injuries and damage in your part of Kansas?
You know, we have no confirmed numbers, so I do not know the exact number of injuries at this time.
All right. That's Julie Galuska of the Red Cross in Kansas, and thank you very much for being with us on that. Well, the high winds and heavy rain sent many residents scrambling for shelter. Jim Patton reports.
Like other motorists, we parked near an overpass, possible shelter. As the mass moved closer, we tried to judge. Thought perhaps because of its size, it was a rain cloud. When we realized our mistake, there was little choice but to race for our lives.
Jim, get us out of it. Hang on, hang with me. Roll. That's it right there. We're out of it. I'm going to get us out of it.
When it was over, we returned to the overpass we had considered for shelter. It had become a triage. At least 3 people seriously injured.
Keep pressure on that wound.
Another towel on it.
Keep pressure on that wound. You okay, bro? Yeah. All right.
One woman who had been holding on near her 11-year-old son was sucked away. Her remains found a half-mile away from the overpass. Despite that one fatality, those that huddled under that overpass made the best decision they could at the time. If they had decided to stay in their cars, their fate might have been met like this. This is what's left of a Ford van. And for one young man who thought storm chasing would be fun on this night, an awakening.
That was the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life. I'm actually studying to be a meteorologist, so I just came out here to, I've never seen a tornado, and I just came out here to see it, and being in it was unreal.
That was Jim Patton reporting there. Well, we'll take a short break now. Viewers in Europe and Africa will be rejoining CNN this morning. For viewers elsewhere, I'll be back in a moment with the latest on the situation in the Balkans, a look at international business, and some of the other news from around the world. Do stay with us.
This has been CNN Breaking News.
I was getting married. I didn't want to be a fat bride. I lost 39 pounds on the Slim Fast plan. I've kept it off for 3 years, and I still fit into my wedding dress. I feel on top of the world. I take care of myself. I eat right, and I have Slim Fast for lunch every day. It's delicious. It helps keep me looking like this.
23 vitamins and minerals, protein, calcium, fiber, all the balanced nutrition like a healthy meal.
I feel wonderful.
Slim Fast every day. Balanced nutrition for a healthy life.
I did it. You can do it.
Here's today's low rate from Ditech Funding.
But what good are super low rates without the service you need when buying or refinancing a home?
What is going on here?
They won't let us move in until the loan closes, and I can't get any answers about the delay.
You should have called Ditech Funding. At Ditech, we guarantee that the loan for your new home purchase will close on time, or we'll give you $1,000 interest credit. Call 1-800-71-FIXED for 6 3/4%, APR 7.005% with 0 points today.
CNN Today with Lou Waters and Natalie Allen. Weekdays on CNN.
And welcome back. Residents in the Yugoslav capital Belgrade say Monday night was one of the quietest since NATO's air campaign began more than 40 days ago. But other towns were not so lucky. Yugoslav media say NATO air forces hit an oil refinery and a television building in the city of Novi Sad. Other targets reportedly were hit across the country, including bridges, roads and airfields. These latest attacks come as Russian envoy Viktor Chernomyrdin met with United States President Bill Clinton in Washington. Chernomyrdin urged the president to intensify diplomatic efforts to end the conflict over Serbia's Kosovo province. Mr. Clinton insists that Yugoslavia must, however, comply with conditions set by NATO for ending the crisis.
We need to think of the circumstances and the conditions on which it could be enacted. How we can reach those conditions, what terms we should lay out, what parameters, what modalities. This process requires very detailed negotiation, discussion. There should be no uncertainties, because the stakes are very high of what is going on.
We had words last October and before where Mr. Milosevic made certain commitments and then they were abandoned. We have tried diplomacy. We have said that under the right circumstances we would be willing to have a bombing pause, but we would need acceptance of the basic principles and at least the beginning of withdrawal of served forces. And I don't believe that we should change that position.
Meanwhile, the United States Senate is expected to vote Tuesday on a measure that would give President Clinton added authority to conduct military operations in Yugoslavia. It would allow him to use all necessary force to end the conflict, and that includes a land offensive. Mr. Clinton does not support the measure, and it is likely it will not survive the Senate vote. Well, thousands of refugees queued on the border of Macedonia Tuesday, waiting to be admitted into the country. Refugee camps in countries neighbouring Kosovo are struggling to deal with the influx of ethnic Albanians from the Serbian province. But one group of aid workers is raising the standard of refugee care. CNN's Jane Araf has the story from Kukës, Albania.
This is the foundation of a link between Albania and the Arab world. It's a mosque going up at the camp built by the United Arab Emirates, the tiny, rich Gulf state that's the only non-European country involved in housing refugees here.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Most Kosovars are Muslim. Imam Afrim Berisha was a religious leader in the village he was expelled from. But the reason refugees wait in line to get in this camp over others is the accommodation. Just a little more than 2 weeks old, it's risen up from the mud to become what some UN officials refer to as the Hilton of camps. This is the UAE's first venture at a refugee camp. It wants to make sure it does it right, and it seems money is no object.
It was open budget by Sheikh Zayed, and this is what gives it, a good support.
What that means is they can spend as much money as they want to. To bring in supplies, they're building their own airstrip for cargo planes, the first in northern Albania. The 200-bed medical unit is more advanced than the local hospital. And there are what would be luxuries in other temporary camps. Hot meals, which the refugees say actually taste good. And new pajamas. Despite that, it's still a refugee camp. The UAE is promising to double the number of tents and build showers, a playground, and a school run by UNICEF. But right now, there's no running water and no privacy. Most Kosovars here couldn't find the UAE on a map.
We tried to push them to know only Emirat, only the Emirat, only they know you are Arab, only that. And sometimes they think we are from Europe also, they don't know who we are.
Most of the refugees don't really care who their hosts are. They're just happy for the hospitality. Jane Araf, CNN in Kukës, Albania.
And coming up on World News, a bold peace initiative in Colombia gets the backing of the United States.
Last year, Victoria Molinari got a home equity loan at a very nice rate. This year, we'll lower her interest rate. Next year, we'll lower it again. The year after that, we'll lower it some more. For making payments on time, we lower your interest rate automatically 4 years in a row. That's the Back on Track plan. It's the best home equity loan you can get. And every year, it gets better.
The Money Store. 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Wouldn't it be great if your computer showed how things looked on your figure? At LandsEnd.com, it can. With our unique personal model, an online dressing room. LandsEnd.com. It's the website that fits you.
Meet Bruce Miller. With the push of a button, he commands his legions. With Sky Reply from SkyTel, Bruce can choose from a list of responses to reply to messages and email right from his pager. Which means Bruce can handle almost any situation. SkyTel puts you in control. Can your pager do that?
Weekdays on CNN-FN. From the opening bell to the end of the trading day, we'll bring you complete and continuous live market coverage and analysis. All you've come to expect from the most reliable source in the business, CNN-FN, the financial network. We mean business.
I'm Marielle Hemingway. I'm watching you, CNN.
Well, the Dow Jones Industrials hit a new record on Monday. Let's check more on that and how the Asian markets are responding in our Biz Asia Extra. As we said, the Dow Industrials closed above 11,000 Monday, increasing by 20% since January. Markets in Asia are all rallying strongly in reaction, although the region's largest, Tokyo, is closed for a holiday. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong is up almost 2%. In Singapore, the Straits Times is up almost 2.5%. And stocks in Seoul adding nearly 2%. In Germany, we're beginning to get an idea of how Europe's markets are going to react to the Dow's new record. The DAX in Frankfurt is up and running now. Let's have a look. It is up 52 points at 54.35. KLM is a stock to watch in Amsterdam. The Dutch national carrier plans to reduce the number of its shares by a quarter. Well, the good health of the United States economy is the reason behind the Dow's new record Monday. Recent economic reports show that the United States is in a period of strong growth, but without signs of worrying inflation. By the closing bell, the Dow had closed above 11,000. As you've heard, it took just 24 trading days to get there from 10,000. The Dow rocketed 225 points to close at 11,014. But the Nasdaq Composite couldn't keep up. Technology stocks pushed the Nasdaq down 7 points. Microsoft lost nearly 1.5. Intel added nearly 2. Goldman Sachs is set to change the course of its 130-year history. The leading investment bank becomes a public company today for the first time ever. The $3.7 billion initial public offering will be the second largest ever and will be priced at $53 a share. In October, oil and gas giant Conoco raised $4.4 billion with its offering. That is the latest in financial news in our Biz Asia Extra. International headlines are after the break.
Tuesday, Cher. She burst onto the scene in the 60s. Since then, this pop diva has hosted 2 TV shows, topped the music charts, even won an Academy Award. Cher, People Profiles, at a new time, Tuesday, 8 Eastern.
So many shirts, so little time. That's why LandsEnd.com has its unique Oxford Express, so you can choose just the shirt you want, click by click. LandsEnd.com. It's the website that fits you.
Demetrius!
What if she loved him, but he didn't love her?
Use me as you use your dog.
What if he loved her, but she didn't love him? What if for one magical night, everyone fell in love at first sight?
Thou art wise as thou art beautiful.
William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. What fools these mortals be. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 14th, only in theaters.
Mortgage interest rates have been slashed to some of their lowest levels ever. The time to refinance is right now. Just call Ditech Funding at 1-800-71-FIX. Today's low 30-year fixed rate is just 6.75%. APR 7.005%. There are no points, no deposits, and rates will never go down to zero. So what are you waiting for?
It's smart financing from Ditech Funding.
Refinance now to a low 30-year fixed rate of just 6.75% with 0 points. Call 1-800-71-FIX.
Go inside politics now for a full hour. Weekdays 5 Eastern on CNN.
The United States has given its stamp of approval to propose peace talks between the Colombian government and Latin America's most powerful guerrilla group. The peace initiative was set up over the weekend when President Andres Pastrana met secretly with Manuel Marulanda. Marulanda is the head of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. The talks are scheduled to start on Thursday. The U.S. says a negotiated settlement is the best way to end Colombia's 35-year conflict. An independence leader says there will be more bloodshed in East Timor unless the United Nations controls security during a vote on whether the territory wants autonomy. Jose Ramos Horta gave his warning in a letter to UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan on Monday. Indonesian and Portuguese officials plan to finalize an agreement on Tuesday that sets up the August election. The meeting comes against a backdrop of new violence elsewhere in Indonesia. At least 17 people were reportedly killed when Indonesian soldiers opened fire on villages in the northern province of Aceh. Now, with a check of international sports news and highlights, here's CNN's Dave Cotton.
Well, the political tension surrounding Cuba's first ever baseball game against a major league team on U.S. soil spilled over to the playing field on Monday night in Baltimore as a Cuban-American anti-Castro demonstrator ran onto the field. That is a no-no, and the umpire strikes back. Ironically, it was a Cuban umpire, Cesar Valdez, who eventually wrestled the demonstrator to the ground. The man, one of 4 protesters arrested for disturbances during the evening. As for the game, Cuba won it 12-6 with Andy Morales putting the game out of reach with a 3-run blast in the 9th inning. The happy Cubans earning a split of the 2-game exhibition after Baltimore won the first game in Havana in late March. In tennis, former French Open champion Michael Chang's struggles continued as he crashed in the first round of the German Open. Chang, in the near court, lost to Dutchman Sheng Schalken, who rallied to win it in 3 sets. The 42nd ranked Chang, once ranked as high as 2nd 3 years ago, has advanced beyond the 2nd round only once this year. He says his prolonged slump can no longer be blamed on injuries, but rather just horrible play. South African Wayne Ferreira and American Jan Michael Gamble were among the other winners on opening day. In Rome, Russian starlet Anna Kournikova struggled in her first match in 3 weeks, but advanced when Italian Rita Grande retired with leg cramps in the 3rd set. Martina Hingis and the Williams sisters each received first-round byes. NBA, for just the 2nd time in 13 years, Serbian Vlade Divac and the Sacramento Kings have clinched a berth in the playoffs. Vlade with 25 points Monday in Denver. And how about a little white chocolate? Jason Williams, the dish to Scott Pollard for the dunk. And then Williams will hit the 3-pointer. The Kings will be either the 7th or the 8th seed in the West when the playoffs begin this weekend. NHL playoffs are ahead on World Sport, but that is our look at international sports for now. I'm Dave Cotton.
And here are the headlines now on World News. Tornadoes in the central United States have left at least 36 people dead. The tornadoes first ripped through cities in the state of Oklahoma on Monday. Separate funnel clouds touched down later in the state of Kansas. More than 2,000 homes have been destroyed. The severe weather in the region is expected to continue into Tuesday. United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan is scheduled to meet with Russia's envoy to the Balkans, Viktor Chernomyrdin, on Tuesday. They are expected to discuss NATO's bombing campaign in Yugoslavia. Annan says he doesn't see a quick diplomatic fix to the crisis. NATO jets struck an airport outside Belgrade and a television facility in Novi Sad on Monday. It was reported to be one of the quietest nights across Yugoslavia since the bombing campaign started. Stay with CNN for the latest on the storms in the United States and the crisis in the Balkans. I'm Michael Holmes.
Here's today's low rate from Ditech Funding.
But what good are super low rates without the service you need when buying or refinancing a home?
What is going on here?
They won't let us move in until the loan closes, and I can't get any answers about the delay.
You should have called Ditech Funding.
At Ditech, we guarantee that the loan for your new home
out means
it makes a better sandwich.
Or wait, nature's goodness you can see and taste.